So, hi, my name's James, I'm a medical student, and this is my testimony. So pretty much I was an atheist most of my life really until about a couple of months ago, and I've always been someone who would pray in sort of, in times of need. So before an exam I'd pray that obviously I'd get good results, and then I'd pass my exams and I'd be like, yeah, God exists, and then that would just die after a few days and I'd be like, no, it's just a coincidence. And so I never really believed in God really. And so yeah, my life was just a typical student really. So I'd go out and get drunk like 3 nights a week, and I'd try and get with like as many girls as I could and go out gambling, and really just sort of like a really bad lifestyle. And then in second year, I met this girl called Rachel, and she was in my group at university. And I knew she was a Christian, and we'd spoken a few times, but I didn't really think, I didn't really speak about God with her. And so at the start of third year, we have these what's called clinical partners. So someone who you're with for most of the year, like on the wards in the hospital. And I found out that Rachel was my clinical partner, and so I thought, okay. And so we'd spoken a few times at the start of the year about like God and stuff, but I'd never really thought I was still an atheist and stuff. But I noticed there was something different about her, and I was just sort of just curious about what it was that she had. And we'd spoken a few times, and she said that she'd spoken about this relationship that she had with Jesus, and I was just curious as to what it was that she had, because she didn't go out and get drunk like everybody else, and there was just something about it. And then a few weeks later, I went home for the weekend, and my granddad, I'm really close to my granddad, and he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he was given just 2 weeks to live. And so I came back and I was just devastated, just absolutely destroyed. And I thought I'd spoken to Rachel about God, and so I thought I'd pray like I'd always prayed before, and I just prayed that God would take away this cancer. But at first he didn't. Sort of a week went by, and I just sort of felt so destroyed. And I said to God, I said, if you exist, then why have you not come and saved him here? Like, you've just left me alone. And I just felt so devastated, just alone. And then the next day I found out the results of his scan, and his cancer completely gone. And the consultants, they couldn't believe it. They said they'd never seen anything like this, that his cancer completely disappeared. And so I was so excited afterwards, and I went to Rachel the next day and I told her about how God answered my prayers and stuff. And so she started talking to me more about the relationship that you have with Jesus, and then she invited me to church, and so that was the first time I'd ever been to church. And so that was such a cool experience. Just, it wasn't what I expected at all. Just like the modern songs, like the modern people, it was so cool. And then it really sort of developed when I got a Bible. Rachel went and brought me a Bible, and there was just a verse in Mark, and I read it, and it just really spoke to me. And that was at the moment I realised that, yeah, I'm a Christian now, and that I've got this relationship with God, and where it changed from sort of fearing God to God's love, where I want to please God. And that was a really big moment for me. And then a few weeks after that, I had a cool experience with my radio, because it's my alarm in the morning. And I normally set it on just a normal local radio station. And so I set it the night before, and then when I woke up in the morning, the first thing I heard was just this guy talking about God. And I was like, this is weird. And then they started playing Hillsong, Young and Free, those songs, and I was like, this is weird. And I checked my radio, and overnight it had swapped from just a normal radio station to a station called Cross Rhythms, which is the local Christian radio station. And I was like, this is so cool. And I just couldn't believe it. And so since then my relationship with God has just grown so much. And I realised that I wasn't doing things, I wasn't getting drunk and chasing girls out of fear of God anymore, but out of my love of God. And I was thinking, it's just crazy to think that had my granddad not been ill, or if I'd been placed with a different clinical partner, I would never have become a Christian. And it's just so humbling to think that God chose me. And lately I've had to sort of sacrifice certain things in my life, and people aren't comfortable with my new faith. And I've sort of questioned whether it's all been worth it. But then I realised that I've experienced so much of God's love that it's, I could never go back, and my life is so much more complete with God in my life. And I just want to go out and just share my love of God with my friends and family, and just so that they can experience the same life-changing love that he has shown to me, and that is my testimony.